you can keep running your mouth. You can keep saying all these things. Like, I feel like Juliana has a very like delusional version of, you know, our history together. But it makes it fun, right? It's building a storyline. And the more she keeps talking and yapping, like, she's selling things. Good for you. But at the end of the day, our fists are going to talk. And I'll tell you what, like, it is a fight I've been waiting for since 2013 that we were on The Ultimate Fighter. Somehow our time has not aligned, but obviously it's coming. And I'm excited to finally punch her ass in the mouth.
I mean, it is gonna take a lot of visualization. I didn't want to start too early until the fight really got solidified. Now we got 6 months and we're gonna have our physical training. We're gonna have that mental training of visualizing and seeing and feeling and smelling and tasting all of the different emotions that are gonna happen June 29th. But yeah, man, I believe it's gonna be the best camp of my life. I believe I was chosen and born for a time such as this. Finally,
that shit
after
hype me
all
up.
of these years, right? All of those years of freaking being down in the valley, nobody watching my fights in Bellator and being the number 5 guy in the world, nobody caring, nobody knowing who I was, coming into the UFC, having banger after banger, losing a couple fights, winning a couple fights, the naysayers, the doubters, all of it will culminate on June 29th, where I can say, a little smile on my face, I told y'all, who's next?
Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Moicano said, Michael Chandler is so desperate to get this fight. He's almost begging. He's almost on his knees. McGregor, fight me. I just think that's hilarious. We don't know if that fight's going to happen. McGregor is full crazy nowadays. He's making videos eating food, and he looks drunk or on drugs or something. I don't know. But I like McGregor. I think he's funny. I think he's entertaining. Michael Chandler is just trying to get the fight, and it's kind of lame if you ask me.
And I know you called out Sean Strickland, but a lot of the fans are wanting to see you and Chris Curtis, mostly because of what we saw tonight between the two of you. Is that a fight that you'd be open to if that was offered to you?
M'intéresse pas du tout, parce que ça va plus me ralentir.
I'm not at all interested by Chris Curtis. First of all, he's so low on the ranking. Second of all, I did a masterclass against him. I just dominated him. He couldn't do anything into the cage. But you know, if he really wants to keep talking, I can go into his place, his gym, and we can do a real tough sparring session, and I'm gonna destroy him as I did into the cage.
Et on lui a déjà proposé la revanche directement après le combat, avant de combattre Dolidze.
And before Roman Dolidze, we proposed him a rematch in UFC Paris, and he declined. He refused.
Rogan came out. He said, I hate the fight. Talking about Max and Gaethje. He said, I hate the fight. He said, Max has tried to come to 155 before. Max bumped up, tried to take on Khabib, it gets scratched. Ultimately does compete at the weight class one time with Dustin Poirier and did not win a round. Nobody ever said, I want to see Max and Justin fight. Ever. Justin, Gaethje, and a 45-pounder. Never a piece of dialogue. When Rogan comes out and he says he hates it, and he hates it because in Joe's mind, it's a foregone conclusion. Justin Gaethje is going to be Max. Max is then going to be returned to 145, although a little of the shine and a little luster is going to be gone. And he's not quite going to be the #1 contender.
You mentioned Amanda Nunes. She did an interview with Megan O'Leary when she was in Toronto a couple weeks ago, and it didn't seem like she had closed the door on coming back. Now, I know she's a former teammate of yours, but are you hoping that Amanda Nunes comes back to the UFC at some point and resumes competing?
I would love that.
So selfishly, that's probably what the ultimate goal for you would be here in the UFC, is not just becoming champion, but hoping that Amanda Nunes comes back and you'll have the opportunity to face her.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like you said, you talked about Cyborg, fighting her, being focused on that. I'm not focused on fighting Amanda right now. I'm focused on fighting Holly Holm on April 13th at UFC 300. But yeah, I mean, of course, I would love the opportunity to step inside the cage with her and throw down, you know, and it's not personal, it's just business. But right now my focus is on Holly. And then, you know, everyone talks about me and Cyborg, but Amanda's the girl that knocked out Cyborg, so.
How did it feel being inducted into the Hall of Fame? Like, what was, was it out of nowhere? Were you expecting it coming? Like,
yeah. Well, I didn't get inducted. They announced that I'm getting inducted.
They announced it, okay.
But yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I kind of figured, like, people were saying, like, oh, you're going to get in the Hall of Fame, da-da-da. So I figured it was going to happen eventually. The day before I did a Q&A, Megan O'Leary, the reporter, was telling me, because I did a Year of the Fighter, actually comes out today on Fight Pass. It was like a documentary about the 1 year of my career. And she's like, oh, yeah, we're going to show a preview of that. So even when it came on in the arena, when they start talking about the announcement, I thought it was that. So I was like, oh, looking at it, and then I'm like, oh, shit. Then I realized. So I was like, holy shit. Yeah. And I was sweating.
I saw that. You were like this. I was sweating.
Yeah, because they had me put my head in.
I would've
it looks like I'm crying. It looks like I'm crying.
It's coming. I'm excited to finally punch her ass in the mouth.
What? What'd you say?
Punch her ass in the mouth.
What the